I have these questions too, of course. Well, why don't we ask two questions for it? He's asking for it. Here's the first. Charles Sanders said the city of Yonkers' budget often relies on non-recurring sources of revenue. For example, the refinancing of the Riverfront Library property. This has been noticed as a cause of concern by the Office of the State Controller. Is Yonkers headed for another state fiscal control board? Mr. Brewer? Non-recurring revenue return to the fiscal control board.
Yes, we are. We are headed for a control board. The finances of the city are not being handled. They're not being handled properly. And if we don't take a real hard look at how we spend this money, and there's no more accountability as far as I see on the issues of how we spend our money, I think spending is out of control. We will eventually wind up with another financial control board. Absolutely.
I'm very familiar with Mr. Monopoly's memo. Unfortunately, it was almost like a slap on the wrist when he ended the correspondence. He also cited our repeated habit of depending on non-revenue and the excessive overtime that we have in the city. I'd rather not have Yonkers have the embarrassment of a control board. In the 90s, I think when Mr. Cisco was there, there was a professional management team, I don't know if it was Murphy Mayo, that came in and overhauled the police department. We need a complete overhauling at every aspect of our spending. Every department should be reviewed by professional analysts who know how to spend money and know how to save money. Yes, I think this doesn't happen very shortly. The mayor is asking now, in an election year when usually the voters are being handed to, he's asking for a 5% increase next year. And this is an election year. Can you imagine what we're in for next year when he's not currently in favor with you all? So we are in trouble. We need a professional management team. I also hope that members of the community, retired businessmen, maybe people who are in the corporate sector that made their mark, that know how to look at budgets, can give us a hand, volunteer your time. We need all the help we can get, and no one's help should be excluded.
I agree that we shouldn't rely on one-shots, but the reality in our budget over the last 10 years is that we relied on one-shots, and they've always worked. And the reason we've had to rely on one-shots is because of the short funding we get from Albany. My colleague mentioned before, in talking about the schools, that we get 46% of the dollars we spend on repairing our schools or building our schools back from Albany. Buffalo gets 96% back, and I think that's totally unfair. We have to continue to lobby our state legislators for our equitable share from Albany to be able to eliminate the one-shots, and we will do that.
We'll just have one last question for you, Rick. Thank you. Rick, yours.
This last question, Gronowski. In Ludlow Park, we suffer the smells and other impacts of this county's largest sewage treatment facility, which has been over its design capacity for many years now. How would you take action as a city council member to ameliorate the impacts of all the additional sewage that's going to be generated by the new development project proposed for Yonkers, from Rich Hill to Getty Square to the waterfront? And not to mention out-of-county projects that also will impact this. And taking note that the Stryker-Capelli proposal is only allocated $900,000 for their proposed separation of wastewater and stormwater downtown.
I can answer in reverse, and please bear with me. This is a diverse district, and it's so fragmented and gerrymandered. So I'm learning the specific issues in each area of the district that I go to. If I can answer in reverse, I think that we've been getting away with having the developers have segmentation when they prepare their proposals for their projects. I don't think they take the entire city into perspective when they put their plans in with respect to environmental impact studies and so forth. So that's got to change. We have to have them submit proposals that deal with the impact of the whole city. I've also been reading about and again, please give me a yell if I'm behind the times in being updated with the desire to close in Upper Westchester, the Yorktown, and the Newcastle plants and have everything come down this way. I don't know where that stands. I know this is a county issue based, I'm sorry.
I'm in charge of almost,
I know this is a county issue basically, but we have to deal with the legislature this weekend. I don't know where that stands as far as having everything from Upper Westchester come down here. You know, we split to Peekskill and Yonkers respectively. We have a recycling plan here. I mean, does everything have to come down here? So that's another issue. I don't know where we stand with the covering of the plant, where that stands with the legislature. But again, the county issue, we have to stay on top of it with our county legislature as best as possible. But again, the development plan has to be in a master plan, and the whole city has to be taken into consideration, and environmental impact studies have to be done, not just by segmentation.
I hate ending on this question because we've all been dealing with it from my perspective for 12 years, from your perspective even longer. I don't know what the solution is. I agree that we need to look at our development of our own city on a more global basis. We need to hold our developers' feet to the fire. I don't know whether 900,000 proposed by Capelli is the right number or not, whether it should be more. I have no idea. We need to look at that. We need to get professional advice on that so that we can make the right decisions. I will certainly lobby our county legislators very heavily to take responsibility for that plan and to do whatever has to be done to solve this issue once and for all. But I don't see it coming any time too soon.
Could you shut your cell phone? I'm sorry.
I must have anticipated that question because that's how I opened up. This is why I believe, and this is one of the main reasons why I stepped up to run for city council. City council definitely in the wake of all that's going on, the engine, the development, this engine that's driving this city. This is why, me as a professional civil engineer, I believe the city council at this time, at this juncture, and its turning point, needs a professional civil engineer on the city council. This whole study of infrastructure, our city is a very, very old city, make no mistake about it. Infrastructure is extremely old. They'll beautify downtown and underneath, believe me when I tell you, it's a bomb waiting to go off. It's not being addressed. We need to look at this. We need to put the brake. We got to idle this engine that the administration is calling the engine that's driving this city, because there's no benefit, and they're going to abuse our infrastructure unless someone is there watching our neighborhoods, watching your back, watching my back, watching our children's back. That's why I urge you, and I proudly ask you for your support. This is why this